Other than writing a really clean, high offer or putting your property on the market with beautiful photography and a very attractive price, what are some of the things that you can do to better your chances in the negotiation when it comes to your transaction here in the East Bay? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video, and we're going to start right now. Hey guys, Hans Struzyna here with the Gunderman Group at Keller Williams Luxury International, coming to you with another video. This is part 3 of my 3-part negotiation series, and today we're talking about the general negotiation things you can do to better your chances, whether you're buying or you're selling. If you get value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because I am going to continue to put out weekly content just like this, and you're not going to want to miss it. So without any further ado, let's just get into it. All right, so starting off with some ideas on the buyer's side. Other than obviously getting yourself fully underwritten and reading disclosures and potentially removing contingencies, talked about that in some of my first-time homebuyer videos linked up here. We're going to talk about a couple of more nuanced things here. Number one is your down payment. There are ways to manipulate your down payment so that what shows up on your offer is in fact something higher than 20%, for example, but isn't necessarily your intention to close with. There are ways to do that. You want to absolutely talk to your agent. It involves showing cash from other sources like retirement accounts and that sort of thing that you could liquidate if you wanted to, but you don't necessarily intend to. If you can show 35% down instead of 20%, that gives you a distinct advantage when you're stacked up against similar offers. Likewise, there's something called a relative offer addendum, which basically says, here's my price, but I'm building in this built-in escalation clause, essentially, that will exceed any offer by, let's just say, $5,000 with a maximum cap of X. And that basically gives you the ability to leapfrog without actually doing any back and forth negotiation yourself to the front of the pack, assuming no one has exceeded your maximum price. Now, there is a little bit of a hiccup here because not all agents understand these. They don't know exactly how to deliver them to their seller, and some agents actually are kind of annoyed with them, frankly. So you do have to be careful when you use that, but there are moments when they're really, really effective, and sometimes they're worth putting in a second volley of a counter back and forth if you think that you're really close or you think they might be bluffing you. So those are some really good tactics. And then lastly is obviously your buyer letter. Now, if you want to make someone feel all warm and fuzzy, write them a letter about how great you are, how lovely their house is, how you're going to take great care of it, how you're going to build some memories there. It oftentimes will come down to making someone feel really good and possibly even taking a lower offer. I've seen it happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but if you do go through the extra effort to write a letter, they read it, they may feel a little more emotion towards you and be more inclined to accept your offer. All right, so now shifting gears a little bit to the seller side of the equation. Obviously, prepping your house, great photography, beautiful staging, disclosure packet that is tight and clean. Those are all the things you can do to prep and hopefully bring people to the table. But the thing you have to remember is the buyer has to put pen to paper and actually write you an offer to make anything official. They sort of hold the keys in this moment. However, hopefully what you've presented is attractive enough to get them to the table. But let's just say you've got a couple of people at the table. Sometimes your highest offer is not always your best one because it might be $20,000 more, but it has a contingency, and that $20,000 advantage might evaporate if they try and negotiate with you. So then maybe there's a moment when you want to lean on offer number 2. give them a very short 2-3 hour expiration window on their price and say, hey, if you want to lock this up, it is yours. Here's the number. Here's your timeline. 3 hours from now, it goes away and we're going to go back to everybody else. Ready, go. It's that sort of thing, that FOMO, that fear of missing out, can be really powerful. Additionally, if let's just say you don't have a ton of offers in writing, but then you get some stuff in verbalized, there are people out there, there are a lot of buyer's agents out there who for whatever reason don't want to, quote, waste anybody's time with actually writing something up. I feel like that's a terrible idea. Personally, I always try and write it up, even if I know it's not going to win, because frankly, nothing ventured, nothing gained. But if you can get someone to go from verbal to writing in the course of a negotiation, you now have some more leverage to use, hopefully against whatever other offer there is, or frankly, if they want to come in and write you a very compelling offer, then maybe you have a new contender all of a sudden. So having those side conversations, making sure that people who haven't thrown their hat in the ring officially do, is absolutely critical to your success. And then lastly, just like with the buyers, it is oftentimes really, really helpful to write a Dear Buyer letter from you as the seller. It'll tell them things like, my neighbors watched my dogs. We had a block party here once a year. I always enjoyed the blooming trees or the bushes in the backyard around this time of the year. Bring color to your experience there. Give this buyer something else to chew on, something else that they can feel good about, so that they know what it's going to be like to actually live in the house. That will hopefully make them reach just a little bit deeper into their pocketbook and want to prevail just that much more if you can tell that compelling story. So that human element on both the buyer and the seller side, absolutely critical, and it's something I recommend you do. All right, that gave you a little bit of a few tips, overviews, and that sort of thing on both the buyer and the seller side. Now, I would love to get a little bit deeper with you on this, but the problem is every negotiation is super nuanced, and until you start seeing what offers are coming in, who you're competing against, what the prices are, it's really hard to know exactly how to react. If you've got a scenario that you want addressed in a future video, drop it down in the comments section. I will do a whole video on how I would respond to it, and I would love to get your feedback on it as well. If you're getting value out of this channel, out of this series, and this video, frankly, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel because I am going to continue to put out content just like this, and you're not going to want to miss it. So, without any further ado, this is Hans Struzyna with the Gunderman Group at Keller Williams Luxury International, signing off for now. See you guys on the next one.